We are actually going to start tonight with something really fun, which is recognizing some of our incredible student athletes. Actually, a very large number of extremely high-performing student athletes. So
we're going to turn it over to our athletic director, Jamie Block, who will invite our students up to the stage, and Hillary and Kaylee will be involved in placing a medal and a hat on our state champions. So go ahead, Jamie.
First of all, I want to thank everyone for coming tonight, and obviously a huge thank you to the Board of Education and the support that the entire community does for all of our student athletes. It was an incredible winter season, and this weekend just like really put it over the top. It's one thing to go and perform, but it's one thing to perform your best under pressure at a certain time, and it's always very difficult in sports to be the hunted. It's much easier to be the hunter than the hunted, and I can tell you, these athletes were definitely the hunted. They were not welcome at the pool. They were not welcome at the track by anyone else in New York State. And so it was a really incredible performance. So I'm going to start off with one of our top divers, Jonas Balchidis. Jack Cornish. Jack Cornish was 12th in the 200 freestyle and also the state champion in the 500 freestyle. Jack. He's swimming somewhere right now. Come right up. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Eric Engel. Eric was 9th in the 200 freestyle, 9th in the 100 freestyle, 8th in the 200 freestyle, and state champion in the 400 freestyle relay. Oliver Engel, 6th place in the 200 IM, 3rd place in the 100 backstroke, state champion, 200 medley relay, and state champion in the 400 freestyle relay. LJ Galata, 8th place 200 freestyle relay, state champion 200 medley relay. Jaden Holmes, 8th place 200 freestyle relay. Adam Kamal, 8th place 200 freestyle relay. Connor McHugh, 7th place 50 freestyle, 3rd place 100 fly, state champion 200 medley relay, and state champion the 400 freestyle relay. It's Connor's 3rd year in that event. And I'm sure he's tired of me saying it. And Aquaman, Eric Nadecki. Eric was 2nd place in the 100 breaststroke, the state champion in the 200 IM, the state champion in the 200 medley relay, and the state champion in the 400 freestyle relay. So this swim team has now done their table for one. That's their unique saying this year, and they had a tic-tac-toe board, 3 state championships in a row at the states. Also, the 200 medley relay set a state meet and NISFA record, and the 400 freestyle relay, which they have dominated for 3 years. They've won that relay in a row, and track actually won it in the spring, so we really own the 400. They crushed their own record for the Federation, NISFA, state, and meet, which is pretty remarkable. I think it was about 4 seconds better than their time in the prelims, which is pretty amazing. So very special group, and today was outstanding. They got to go visit all the schools, along with the track team that we'll bring up here. So these seniors are going to be really sorely missed, but we've got 2 stud athletes on the stage. They're going to bring it all together next year, and I wish them all the best in their endeavors next year as they swim. We'll keep them up here for track. So now we're going to start. We go from the pool to the lanes. Not to be outdone, the indoor track team also is the 3-time county, 3-time class sectional champion, and now they're down at the indoor track meet at Ocean Breeze in Staten Island, which Mr. Auerbach, yes, it's a beautiful place. He has to go visit it. And they put on quite a showing down there. So the members that we have here tonight are members of the state champion 200 relay. And we have Will Weiss, Nico Wright, who is the fastest man in all of New York State, the Flash. He was the state champion in the 55 meters and the 4x200 relay. Ben Ho, state champion, 4x200 meter relay. Kyle McKinney, state champion, 4x200 meter relay. And one of the all-time greatest finishes probably you will ever see in indoor track in the 4x200 meter relay, Seamus Finn. Dr. Seppi has watched it like 15 times. So an absolutely incredible performance, and four of those student athletes also won the 4x4 in the spring last year. That same group, and I think it's the same order too. I think, right? Am I correct on that? Oh, you anchored it last year. So very special weekend for everyone. And obviously, I always like to kind of say it, how they represent Chappaqua as ambassadors of this community is really the best. So today we had a really special day, and a huge thank you to Grafflin administration, Roaring Brook, and West Orchard. We went down on a tour of the buildings. The kids were going crazy. It was a lot of fun. We had a lot of Roaring Brookers here. All they really wanted to do was go play basketball on the playground. Eric Engel wanted to go see a book he had published in the library, and it was a great day. And Eric and LJ and Nico gave a very riveting speech about, how well we offer here and do your studies and make sure you're very disciplined. I'm like, they're first graders, guys. It was a great sales, though, for Greeley. It was great. It was a great day. They're going to represent us well in the spring, and I wish you all the best. Thank you so much, and thank you, Board of Education, for all your support.
So what I'd like is if you guys can stay up there, if your parents are here, if you could come up for a picture with your kids on the stage, that would be great.
Yes, also, and I apologize, I forgot, we also have Coach McKinney, who's not just a parent, he's also the coach of the team, so Coach McKinney should be coming up as well.
All parents up on the stage for a big
we get all the
picture
parents
over
up.
here. We need everybody. This is a group effort. If the board could get up there too, that would be great. That's a great picture. All right, congratulations.
So I'm going to keep going with the president's report just because we've got a very long slide presentation for y'all tonight. So I know those of you staying for the rest of the show don't want to be here all night. So before we get to the more mundane aspects of my president report, I want to just say congratulations to all the students as they are very understandably walking out. So many of our athletes are standouts in their chosen sport or sports, but the students who joined us tonight have really reached the apex of their pursuits. They've medaled at the New York State level of competition, and to even make it to the state level is incredible. And getting that far and not standing on the podium does not in any way undermine the work, dedication, and skill. I was really going to talk to them, but they laughed. That got them to the New York State level of competition. Balancing academics with any extracurricular is challenging. Excelling in that extracurricular while also giving your all at school up to the level of challenge. And excelling in athletics, which can admittedly provide a great outlet, but also a high level of physical exhaustion while also giving your all at school is impressive. So as we've done, I want to celebrate all of our athletes generally, but especially those who competed at states, and especially all those champions who came up tonight, which is really incredible. We have two principal appointments on our agenda tonight, and I know that I join many, many others in congratulating Laura Lynn Stewart and Alyssa Stover on being named principal of 7B and West Orchard, respectively. There are very few announcements that we put out there in this job where I feel confident that everybody will be happy to read them. But this is one where I know it will be very happily received, and we couldn't be happier for each of you to be appointed as leaders of our buildings. On to less happy news. On less happy news, as you all saw in our email sent out last week, the governor has threatened to substantially reduce our state foundation aid. Since that announcement, us as the Board of Ed members, Dr. Colwell-Block and Dr. Ackerman have been working really hard to rectify this. We've been on advocacy Zooms via WestPUT, the Westchester Putnam School Boards Association, have met with our local representatives, and Dr. Ackerman recently traveled to Albany to try to fix this. The short answer is that we're optimistic, but we can't relax yet. Dr. Ackerman will speak to this further in her report or in the budget presentation, but please, the request we sent in that missive stands. Please reach out to the governor's office, as well as your local representatives to Albany, and ask that the hold harmless aid be restored and preserved going forward, so that we're not dealing with this then as on an annual problem. We really want it solidified that not only is it going to be preserved for this upcoming school year, but that this is something that they're going to continue moving forward. The other request in that letter is to ask that we be considered financially similar to the Long Island suburbs. And I want to clarify that request because if you're not in the weeds on this work, it may not make sense. There are some financial determinations, such as cost of living calculations, that are done by region. We are considered Hudson Valley as opposed to, I think it's called tri-state, that Long Island is put into. Now, all of us who live here know that our costs are much more akin to Long Island and New York City than to most of the Hudson Valley in every way, in terms of what we pay our people to what we pay for milk. So it would be nice for the state ed department to recognize that. So if you're writing anyway to request our aid be preserved, it's worth a mention. Tonight we start the more formal budget presentations. We had the preview a number of weeks ago, and now we start the in-depth formal presentations. I will reiterate my ask, which is that please watch the presentations before drawing conclusions. We welcome your comments and questions. Please email them to us. We are reading and considering everything that comes in. We will try to address questions that come in at future presentations. And our goal is for everyone to feel like they understand the budget process and the budget itself, and to feel like their questions have been answered. I want to end by saying that to our families observing Ramadan, which begins this weekend, we wish you a meaningful observance and hope you have easy fasts, especially as the holiday beginning in tandem with daylight savings time. If any of your students are fasting and there's something that we can do to support them, please do let us know. And with that, I'm going to turn it over.
Okay, thank you, Hillary. So I have the opportunity to actually invite Alyssa and Lynn to give some comments tonight before you act on their appointment. But before we do that, I'd like Andrew just to discuss a little bit with our community about our process, and then some of our thinking around why this makes sense for our school district. And then we're going to invite Lynn and Alyssa to make a few comments tonight as well. So I'm going to turn this over to Andrew, who facilitated our search process for both buildings. So Andrew.
Sure, thank you. I'm happy to talk a little bit about it. It was my pleasure to help steer the committees and the process through that. I thought it was a very strong process. It started with some focus groups for parents and for faculty and teachers at the schools and staff, really asking, what are you looking for in the next principal of West Orchard and for Seven Bridges? What are the qualities that you think are most needed? And that was an incredible experience, actually, to listen to faculty and to parents who were really candid and appreciative of the opportunity. And throughout the process, they kept naming things that sounded very familiar to both Alyssa and Lynn coming up here, and it was a strong correlation. And from that, we went into committee interviews, and I know some of the board were on the committee interviews, where they had actually both candidates really had a really rigorous process, I think, with a number of questions from constituent groups. It was every single member of the school community was represented, from students, custodian, clerical, teachers, administrators in the district board of ed members, and parents. And throughout the process of the focus groups, the committee interviews, and the debriefs, not only was there an incredibly strong match between the skill set, knowledge, and experience of both Alyssa Stover and Laura Lynn Stewart, but there was also a strong appreciation for them from people who knew them extremely well in all of these situations. These are two candidates that have spent much of their career, if not almost their entire career, within the school community here in Chappaqua, and have made a mark from day one on their colleagues and on parents and on students and administrators at the district, and know their work extremely well.
I'd like to invite up Lynn first, because she seems like she's ready to go. And go ahead, Lynn.
Just because I was on the end. I just want to start off by first saying thank you to the Board of Education for trusting me to lead a building in this really esteemed school district. I've, as mentioned, been able to take on the role of teacher. So really got to live in those shoes, and then assistant principal here at the high school. And not many people get an opportunity to test drive a job before they actually really take it. So I've really found myself very fortunate to have the opportunity to work, continue to work alongside all of the district administrator and building administrators in order to try out 7 Bridges. And with this process, I have fell in love right from the beginning. I think that the middle school years are extremely unique, as we all know. But from day one, I've been overly ecstatic to work with all of the amazing educators and staff members, the parents. My PTA is here, and just every step of the way has been such a learning opportunity for me as I've taken on a learner's approach, but at the same time been able to really roll up my sleeves and dive in there. And above all is the students. I mean, to stand at the front of the school every morning and to have students come running in, giving you high fives, asking you the craziest questions, and just being truly excited to be learners in a building that's so phenomenal, makes me excited to come to school every day. So I thank you all for giving me the opportunity to continue to lead this building. And I really look forward to all the opportunities that are going to come through the years as I partner with all of the people that make Chappaqua so special. So thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Stewart, and then Ms. Stover.
I have to fix the mic. Lynn's much taller than me. I want to start also by thanking the Board of Education and the district administrators for continuing to trust and invest in my potential and in my leadership here in the district. He's not here tonight, but I also want to thank Jim Skoog. It's bittersweet. I feel like I've come full circle. Jim and I started together at West Orchard 16 years ago, and I will never be able to fill his shoes, but I'm going to make sure that his legacy of making sure that West Orchard was a place where something special happened every day will continue. So thank you, Jim. Go well. That's from him. I shared throughout the process that there is truly a magic that exists within the walls of an elementary school building. And I am so excited to be going home and to experience that each and every day again. And I will be fully committed to making sure that for our students, for our staff, and for our families, that West Orchard is a place that's infused by joy, it's connected by love, and it's a place where we are all committed to making sure that our students have the experiences that will allow them to realize their fullest potential. So thank you all for this incredible opportunity.
Thank you, Alyssa. I couldn't be more thrilled to recommend Lynn and Alyssa to you tonight for your consideration for appointment. There is such an overwhelming amount of confidence when you have members of our team who've been here for such a long period of time and have devoted themselves fully to our district as teachers, as assistant principals, and now as principals. They understand our community, they understand our system. They have a layer of professionalism that's really valued here in this district. So I'm absolutely thrilled. I also love when administrators have their children go to school here, and I don't think there's a larger or a stronger testament to the strength of the district when you have your members of your team enroll their children. And so it's just thrilling all around to be able to support their appointments too tonight. So thank you. And thank you for your comments. And we've got 81 slides to go through, so please don't feel like you need to stay for them because we got buildings to open up tomorrow. But again, thank you, Lynn, and thank you, Alyssa, and thank you to Alyssa's family, who I believe is here too. So, and hello to Lynn's family at home. So thank you. Oh, okay, great. All right, well, thank you. So well done. Okay, so now I'd like Adam to share. We have a scholarship on the agenda from Regeneron. So I just want to highlight our student who allowed us to have this opportunity to receive this grant.
Yeah, so this is Unwen Cow. This is one of our seniors who is one of the top finalists for the Regeneron Science Competition. This is a nationwide competition. For those of you that don't know, science research is a 3-year commitment. Students join, really apply to the program as sophomores and stay in the program through 3 years where they compete in various science competitions. This is a national science competition. She is one of the final 300 scholars that were awarded the Regeneron Prize. It's actually $2,000 to the scholar and $2,000 to the district. So that's a nice award. And fun fact when it comes to Regeneron Scholars that I learned is this group that has been recognized as Regeneron Scholars has gone on to win 13 Nobel Prizes. So we are talking about a pretty serious kind of crop of young scientists. I've also learned that Unwin wants to go on and study biochemistry in college. She did her research here on the Epstein-Barr virus. So congratulations to her, and also Dr. Zupan, who is our science research director, as well as our other science teachers. Pretty amazing accomplishment. And we'll make sure she gets a hat too, and maybe even a medal. $2,000 and a hat.
All right, thank you very much. I'm trying to move. I can't move what's happening here? Got me? Okay. Well, we got to go back. So, Jamie, can you just explain? This is the first time we've had girls flag football. So, can you just share with the board a little bit more about this program?
Yes. So flag football began in New York State and it started in our region 3 years ago. And it was funded and started by the NFL and the New York Giants. And so it started with 7 teams, and that's Daniel Jones, the Giants quarterback. Some people are probably happy to see that, probably some people aren't, but he came up and actually ran practices and did a lot of the drills with all the student athletes here. So it started with 7. It doubled last year, and now it's doubled again. I think we're about 27 schools in Westchester in Section 1 that have it. New York State now that's covering at least 6 sections throughout the state. There's 11 sections. There will be a New York State championship this year in flag football. It is growing in leaps and bounds. I think it'll probably be one of the biggest programs in the country in a few years. The Bills are pushing it from the west side and the Giants from this side. We have a number of student athletes that are signed up for it, and we'll start next week. At this time, there's no JV programs in this section, but I could see that expanding as well. So we're really excited. We had a really nice meeting this morning to kick it off. Coach Valensis, our physical education teacher here at the high school, is going to be coaching it. So we're just excited to get started with it.
Thank you, Jamie. And then I just wanted to share with the community some work that's been going on through committee. So the Board of Education has asked the district to review our athletic placement process to determine if we should expand that at the high school level to our middle school students. And so Jamie and Jamie are co-chairing a committee that's made up of faculty, coaches. Matt and Kaylee are on the committee, and they are looking at 2 guiding questions. Should we allow 7th and or 8th grade students to participate in the high school athletic program? And then if we do, what's the criteria for that? And so Jamie, can you just talk in general terms? Some schools do this, some schools don't do this. Historically, our school district has not, but we're going to take a look at this again at the board's request.
And that's what we're doing. We're kind of just reviewing the athletic placement process. About 10 years ago, it was referred to as selection classification. It's not part of the New York State Public High School Athletic Association. It comes from the commissioner's regulations, actually. And what it is allowing middle schoolers to play up on high school teams, be it JV or varsity. There is a standard procedure that they have to go through. There's about 7 steps that you must follow. You cannot alter them at all. A school district does not have to do it. You can participate in it. You can also choose, if you want to participate, you can put certain restrictions. You can say no 7th graders, no to this sport, only 8th graders, or you can do what you want with it. But then you must follow the standard policy. It starts with parent permission, medical clearance. There's a physical fitness portion to it. There's clearance from from guidance counselors, from classrooms, make sure students can handle it emotionally and socially as well, because now they're playing at a different grade level against older students, and they're around definitely a different group of social circles. So it's something that we're just looking at and looking at what other school districts are doing, and we'll make a decision what's best for Chappaqua.
I just also want to just be clear about expectations. We have to think about this very deeply before we make any adjustments, because there's impact on middle school kids and there's high impact on high school kids if we do this. So this is going to be a process that's going to be thought out carefully from our internal team, which includes a parent representative from Sports Boosters. And then the goal would be to make a recommendation in June on how to move forward, which could be keep everything the way that it is or something else. But this will be a process that we need to make sure that we vet out thoroughly because of the impact on the high school program and the impact on our middle school kids. So I didn't know if Kaylee or Matt, if you wanted to share anything since you're on the committee, but you don't have to. I'm just.
Yeah, I mean, I have a foundational initial opinion on this. This is not something that I had been exposed to in my youth athletic career, as long ago as that was. But I think we had a really nice discussion, and I'm looking forward to our next meeting next week. And you know, some people put athletics in a bucket and it's not that serious. To Christine's point, this has a lot of impact on the 7th and 8th graders, but also a lot of unintended consequences to the older kids as well. So I think this is something that we're going to really think through. And I think the committee is made up of people who just want the right things for our kids. So I'm looking forward to our next discussion.
Thank you. And thank you, Jamie, for being here tonight.
Okay,
We appreciate
thanks.
Thanks, Jamie.
it. Okay, so then the last thing I want to share is we got a little bit of an issue on April 8th. So we have a solar eclipse happening, and it's going to take place right when the elementary buses are leaving. And so there's a concern about students looking at the eclipse without the appropriate safety goggles, glasses on to protect their eyes. And so what I'm going to suggest, and again, feedback is important, is that on this day we dismiss an hour early so everyone can be home with their families. And I'll keep the spaces open, the facilities open, if we want to have events here where kids can be together watching this eclipse under the supervision of their parents, because of like the nuances associated with having to view this in a way that kids have the appropriate eye protection. I also don't want our elementary students on the bus when this is happening. I feel like they got to be off the bus, and we can't extend the day because of the way that our contracts work. So I am gonna suggest that we dismiss an hour early. And then what that would mean is at the next meeting, we would be adjusting the calendar. I would be asking you to act on it, and then I would send out a notification to our parents just so they understand. Now, if we do dismiss an hour early, Healthy Kids, CCW, that'll all run. That's not going to be a problem for us. So I don't want people to be concerned if they use our district for daycare that's not going to be open. We'll have that open for families. But I do think we need to do this because of the dynamics associated with this happening right in the middle of the elementary bus run. Any concerns about that?
And just so that families understand that April 8th is the Monday following our spring break, right? So
Yes.
that, if you need to plan accordingly.
I also anticipate that some families aren't going to come to school that day because they're going to go and watch it, which I think is great too, right? Because these are like once in a lifetime opportunities. So people should choose to do that if they want to, and that's fine, and that's totally understandable. I just want to make sure that we have a pathway for kids to be safe and also to experience this if their families choose to engage in that activity with their students in a way that families feel is safe. It's really about that elementary bus run happening at the time of it. So.
And to clarify, you're dismissing everyone an hour
Yes, 'cause
early,
everyone has to go an hour early so the buses can.
not just the
Right.
elementary schools, but all the schools.
Okay. All right, so that is the end of the superintendent's update. These are just a highlight of the activities coming up. We've got Little Mermaid this weekend. I know we have some board members' children a part of that, which should be great. And then next week we start kindergarten registration, which is also exciting. And we're meeting every Wednesday in March. So, we'll keep talking about things happening in the community, but we'll be here next week as well to go over some more details in terms of the budget. And tomorrow we have Meet the Coaches Night here, really.